The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
All right, good evening and welcome to Weyburn City Council for our regular July meeting, July 14th. We only meet once in the month of July, so this is a very busy meeting. We've got lots of agenda items to cover, including our audited financial statements, reports from Public Works, and a request from the Weyburn Police Commission, as well as some other stuff. So lots of work to do. I would suggest we get to it as quickly as we can. So here we go. First off is approval of the minutes from the June 23rd meeting. Hoping somebody will do that for us.
Your Worship, I'll make the make the motion that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting and strategic planning and priorities meeting held on June 23rd, 2025 be approved.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on those minutes? Any edits needed? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. All right, let's get on to the agenda. The agenda has been published. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Administration.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. I have two changes tonight. So I want to delete 7E, which is the Young Fellows Park landscaping recommendation. We want to move that to the August meeting. And in place of that, we'd like to add the 2025 ABE dam electrical onto the agenda under 7E.
Thank you.
Your Worship, I'd make the motion to approve the agenda amendments.
Thank you.
I will second that motion, Your Worship.
Thank you. Anything else? Any comments on that? No, hearing none. I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. All right. No public hearings tonight, no delegations, proclamations, no petitions. So reports of standing committees. Anybody from council want to bring any reports from any of the committees you're involved with? And I know there's at least one later on, but yeah, Councillor Sadlowski, for sure.
It's not really an update on the report, and this could have been an announcement actually. But the Arts Council is hosting their gifted arts sale or market, in Jubilee on Saturday.
Great, thank you.
They work hard for that, so.
They do. Councillor Bador.
I'd just like to thank everybody on behalf of the Ag Society for supporting the annual fair and sale and everything. We actually have a meeting here this Wednesday to go through the numbers, but it sounded really positive. So
that's excellent. That was a great event. Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none? Charge ahead. We have got our consent agenda, those three items, the Building Department report, Public Works report, and the Water Treatment Plant report, all for the month of June. If I could get a motion to get those on the floor.
Your Worship, I would move that the following items on the consent agenda be approved. Building Department report for June, Public Works report for June, and the Water Treatment Plant for June.
Thank you. A seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Okay, any questions or commentary or anything on those three items? Hearing none, I'll call the question then. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. I say it every month, it seems, but as always, those reports will be on the city website if anybody's interested in a little further reading. All right, on to motions. First up is accounts payable as presented here.
You're watching a motion, Your Worship?
I would love one.
I will make the motion that the purchases from June the 1st, 2025 to June the 30th, 2025 in the amount of $2,329,024.42 be approved for payment. And these purchases include quick pays of $29,587.89, accounts payable $1,678,796.09, direct withdrawals $616,958.88, and debit card transactions of $3,681.56.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Your Worship, I would like to second that entire motion.
Entire motion? Thank you. Any comments or questions on the accounts payable listing? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. Next up, a request for a reallocation of funds from the Weyburn Police Commission. I would call Chief Van de Sype up to explain this to us. click the button, yeah.
Yeah, the Police Commission's requesting that we reallocate some of the funds that were allocated to the next generation 911 system. There was $160,000 that was allocated to that for that purpose. That is not going ahead this year. That'll be a 2026 thing. The request is we'd like to use some of that funds, up to $60,000, towards the purchase of new tasers and biometric equipment. The tasers was an initial ask on the 2025 budget, but it was removed when we pared it down. So any questions on the tasers or biometrics?
Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Chief, if you can explain what exactly the biometrics are and why they are so important. I know that the City of Estevan has invested in them, and they've been seeing some really positive outcomes.
Sure. And sorry, Your Worship, I should have acknowledged you when I come up here. Biometrics is it works similar to like a radar system, but it monitors, it's a sensor in the cells that monitors your vitals. So it can monitor your heart rate, monitors your breathing, and it monitors motion. So it allows the guard or police or whoever's guarding someone in your holding cells to be alerted immediately if any of those vitals are outside the normal. So medical intervention can happen a lot sooner, and it has saved lives. Most of the municipal police forces now in Saskatchewan, if not all, actually have them installed. So this is something that's relatively new, and that's why it wasn't on the ask of last year.
Good. Thank you. Councillor Higgs?
This is maybe more for administration, but how does this affect the budget going forward, like into 2026? Then because there's no NG 911 this year, we'll just reallocate next year? Is that?
Yeah, actually, NG 911 still has a lot of questions. They're still working out a lot of kinks, and it's been a long project in the working. But the $160,000 would be an ask for next year as well. So we're delaying that $160,000 in essence for 2026.
So I'll answer that further, Councillor Higgs. So if there's still $100,000 left for the NG 911, the request would be through budget to be as a carryover, to carry over that $100,000 into next year. That'd be the request that would be made from the Weyburn Police Commission that way.
No, sorry.
Hold on, I just had one other question, and this isn't necessarily related right to this particular thing, but do the police services or any pieces of municipality, particularly in police service, do you guys look to try to purchase products together? Like when Estevan would buy biometrics, maybe is there deals to be had, or is that just not a thing?
We do get some discount, but they're hitting all the Saskatchewan municipal. They're actually hitting all the municipal agencies and police agencies in Canada. So, in essence, it is a bulk sale.
They know what they're doing.
One thing I'd like to add on the tasers is it was very important asked last year, but we were able. Right now, we're using the X26 tasers, which were brought out in 2003. They were discontinued sales in 2014, so it's 11 years past. They provided parts and repairs for those tasers for a certain length of time, which ended a few years ago. So we've been operating and keeping those alive with parts and pieces that we got from other municipal agencies. So it was a priority this past year, but we removed that. So it's something that we really, it's quite emergent that we have it for the next year.
Okay. Councillor Janke? Chief, I'm fairly certain I know the answer to this question, but I'll ask it anyway. We are pretty positive at this point that NG 11 is not going to come to fruition in this budget year.
No, it won't happen in 2025. The last I had was that they're going to start working on some of the system in September for us, but it'll be at least 6 months. So we're looking into maybe the first quarter of 2026.
Okay, Councillor Bador?
Chief, what's the lead time of tasers? Like if you order them today, do they ship tomorrow?
The quote we have, it looks like it's on October 1st. Now that was a couple of weeks ago, so sometime in October is what we anticipate.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, let's get the motion on the floor straight away to do this.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that up to $60,000 in the Weyburn Police Service budget from the funds originally designated for the NG 911 program be reallocated to purchase new tasers and biometric equipment.
A seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Okay, any final questions before we call the question? Yes, Councillor Chang.
From a strictly accounting point of view, there's no problem with this, is there? Okay.
Very good. All right, call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, and thank you, Chief Anasay, for your explanation. Was great. Appreciate that very much. Okay, let's go on to less exciting goods. The Highway 39 culvert replacement, just as exciting, I would argue. We would look to the Director of Engineering for a deep dive, no pun intended.
Thank you, Your Worship. In 2022, the Ministry of Highways identified a culvert failure located under Highway 39, just east of Highway 35, shown below in Figure 1. The deteriorated condition of the culvert was posing a large risk to the structural integrity of both the highway and the city roadway that was identified for a replacement. The City of Weyburn entered into a Transportation Partnership Fund contribution agreement with the Ministry of Highways as part of the Urban Highway Connector Program for the culvert replacement project, where the Ministry of Highways would coordinate the design, tendering, and construction of the project, and where the City of Weyburn would be responsible for funding 30% of the portion within the highway right-of-way and 100% of the portion within city property, which was approximately 2/3 of the total culvert length. During the design phase of the project in 2024, the ministry provided the city with a total project cost estimate of $809,000, with the city's cost share being $600,000 for the 2025 construction year. The ministry tendered the project in June 2025, and the winning bid amount was $1,257,196. The bids received were significantly over the 2024 budget due to the increase in the cost of materials and labor for the 3,000 mil manhole and floodgate located on the city's portion of the culvert, compared to the original estimate. Administration recommends that Council gives approval to the ministry to proceed with the Highway 39 culvert replacement project in 2025, with the city's cost share being $882,000. This would be an overage of $282,000, which would be paid in the 2026 fiscal year and requires a pre-approval for the 2026 budget.
Thank you. Can we get a motion?
Your Worship, I move that Council give approval to the Ministry to proceed with the Highway 39 culvert replacement project in 2025, with the city's cost sharing being $882,000. We recognize as an overage of $282,000, which will be paid out of the 2026 fiscal year, and Council give pre-approval for that item in the 2026 budget.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Sadlowski. All right. Questions? Councillor Higgs.
So they missed the mark by quite a bit on their original estimate, correct?
They definitely estimated under a little bit, yep.
Okay. And it's because of our city portion that ours goes up that much, because 2/3 of it is on our property. Is that accurate?
Correct. So it's just as the project increases in price, so does our percentage that we're paying for, yeah.
Is there ever any conversation at city mayors about stuff like this, where the province, you know, I mean, that's a substantial amount of money for this city, and to just change it up in the middle? It's tough to take.
Yeah, that's a fair question, Councillor Higgs, and I would say that I haven't heard that conversation recently, but if I was to, and I realize I wasn't the mayor back in, say, 2015-16, but there were conversations around when a higher level of government misses the mark, for lack of a better word. But I would say this: in the years of COVID and beyond, it has been very easy, it appears, to be out by very much. And we just heard even Chief Anasay talking about 6 months just to get tasers shipped. It's super common, and we're not ordering a unique taser. I'm not making excuses either, but I think that until we get our economies settled down and we get better at doing more of these kind of projects, being out might be the nature of the beast, although unacceptable. I don't know that we have. But this is the commitment I'll make. I will bring it up at the next Mayor's Caucus meeting. Yeah, Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Director Cognate, I'm sure this is what everybody else is going to ask as well. We have 2 seasons, construction and winter in Saskatchewan. When would this work begin, and will it kind of correspond with the other construction, and how will it affect it, I guess?
It will begin this construction season. The work can take place beyond construction season during the winter as well. It won't be wrapped up until probably Q1 of 2026 with final probably restoration of the site. It won't affect too horribly any of our other concurrent construction projects happening within the city. They are going to be boring the majority of the, I guess, new culvert under the highway, so there shouldn't be traffic restrictions there. There will be some traffic restrictions on the city portion on First Avenue South during that open cut portion, but it's pretty isolated in that area, so, yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Janke, sorry I faked you out earlier.
I was going to ask the same question, but just to make sure I understand this correctly, this looks like this piece of culvert is draining a large section of floodplain into the river. Do they have a plan for, which obviously makes it very important to get done, but do they have a plan for diverting that water if we happen to get an unseasonal rain at that time?
They would have plans for that. Fortunately, most of the work is planned for low, I guess, off-season, like drier season, but yeah, it would all be worked in their requirements, their contractual obligations, for sure.
Does sound like good timing then, thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Corrigan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Director Cognate, I'm just curious, is the province tendering this project out then, or are we?
The province did the full design tendering, so it has been tendered already. Okay. And then they will also be coordinating all of the construction and doing the contract management and making sure all the specifications are followed. So the only contribution from the city is the financial bill or invoice, I guess, that we'll get.
Our dollars.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just curious then with who, the company that received the winning bid, are they part of the construction that's happening in the area already?
Yeah, they do have some construction. They have a few intersection rebuilds within the city of Weyburn, so they have confirmed that they will still be able to meet their proposed construction schedules for the city.
Actually, my lead into that was more so if they're part of the the roundabout or 35 North projects, would they have the equipment in the area already to be able to do the construction, which maybe could lower the cost of the project? I mean, we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm asking you to speculate, which is rather unfair from my point, but I guess I'm just hoping that perhaps this project could come in more under budget than above budget.
Yeah.
We can always hope, right?
We can always hope.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Questions? All right. If that's everything, then I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried unanimously, and thank you for presenting that, and it's too bad it went the way that it did, but we have to do it. Next up is playground resurfacing at Elks Park Playground. Look to the Director of Leisure Services for this report, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. In 2024, Elks Park Playground rubber resurfacing was identified to be in need of repair. The park's operating budget included $55,000, which was intended for the resurfacing here. The request for proposal is, we posted an RFP out. It was posted through the city's bids and tenders portal. Proposals were to be received no later than July 7th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Completion date for the project was stated for September 30th, 2025. 2 proposals were received, as they are listed below. DBO Industries, which operates as Advanced Surfacing, for $61,745, and Park and Play Design Limited for a total of $128,326.12. The recommendation is, upon review of the bid submittals to the project, that we award the project to DBO Industries for the project cost of $61,745. This is over the $55,000 in the budget for this, so the recommendation encompasses an overall budget increase of $6,745 to cover this project.
Thank you. Let's get a motion on the floor. First, if we could.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that the Elks Park Playground resurfacing project be awarded to DBO Industries for the project cost of $61,745.
Thank you. A seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. All right, questions for Director Henning. Councillor Corrigan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Have we done work with DBO Industries before?
The City of Weyburn has not done work with DBO Industries before, but the City of Estevan recently has.
Okay. So I'm always amazed at the discrepancy in bids coming in for projects like these, how wide it can vary. It's just mind-boggling.
Yes, and DBO Industries, they operate as Advanced Surfacing, so the name might be a little bit off-putting as well. But.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bador.
Richard, just wondering, because it's a well-utilized park, how long would it be down from start to finish on a project like this?
They've indicated like 3 to 4 weeks. Once we are at the stage of award, then we'll try and narrow that down and get a more detailed scope of work. And at which time, I mean, if it's going to be a longer outage, that's something that we could work with them to see if we can alter the start and finish dates.
Thank you. Councillor Higgs.
Was there any change of scope looked at in an effort to try to hit the budget, or it's just not a possibility?
The price that comes back is based on the square footage, is basically what it comes down to. So with the pour and play rubber resurfacing, it's just dollars per square foot and whatever margin they want to put on their labor and material.
Thank you. Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Director Henning, this is one of our accessible playgrounds, correct? So will resurfacing it keep it accessible or make it a lot easier for anybody of any ability to make use of that park?
Great question.
Yes, Councillor Morissette. This will maintain the same surface that we have existing today, which is a cushioned rubber surface. It meets accessibility designs, and it's more accessible in other parks that we have that have gravel or loose laid-in rubber pellets.
Great. Thank you. Councillor Sidlowski.
Hopefully the last question.
Well, we'll see.
What's the typical life cycle of this material? Is it last along? We're replacing existing. Is it at the end of life, and is that typical for end of life?
I will be honest and say I'm not sure exactly when this park was resurfaced last. I don't have that information handy. I can get that to you. But from what research we have done online, everybody has a different product, but the advertised life expectancy is 15 to 20 years.
Great. City Manager, we want to...
Yeah, I'll just answer a little more into that for Councillor Losky. So that's original, what they did there, because that was a new park they put in at Elks Park. And so I think this is being done more because of damage done from people, picking at the surface. It's less to do on the wear and tear on it. I don't know if you want to correct me on that, but it's mostly what we're seeing is a little bit on people doing damage to it. Which, going back to the question from Councillor Morissette, because it is that surface, and it's not the pellets, it's not the granular, not any of those things. What we're seeing is that actually people are doing vandalism to that area. So when Richard talks about 15 to 20 years, that should be a regular life on that. I would say we're much less on that. That park would be, I believe it's 8 years old now, okay. So it's a little earlier, but it's more to do not with the wear and tear, but people actually vandalizing that area. So I know that we've looked at lighting, we've looked at some other options that way to kind of assist that way.
Perfect, thank you.
No. Thanks for that context, City Manager. Sorry, Councillor Higgs, one more question? Yeah.
There's no opportunity for an insurance claim in respect to that?
No, not for the damage that was done on there.
Good. I have only one question, kind of going back to Councillor Corrigan's question. That discrepancy is incredibly significant. It's more than double. So you say, that, and you're right, DBO operates different name, and the City of Estevan has used them, and they were happy with the work, no concerns, just simply because it is such a difference in pricing.
Yes, I have reached out to City of Estevan, to Shannon Weiner. She did assure me that they resurfaced a playground for them in Estevan, and they were quite happy with it. They also did a paddling pool resurface on some busted up concrete surfacing. They've been very happy. They've met the deadlines. Their product, she has compared it to other products of different suppliers, and she likes the product that they're putting down and is very satisfied with the results.
Thank you. Would there, and I'm not, you don't have to, go into great detail, but are there mobilization costs perhaps maybe a little bit lower? Are they a little more local than Park and Play? Does that help?
That could possibly help. I mean, I can't tell you how they wrote their RFPs or how they priced it out, but DBO is Estevan-based, and Park and Play is out of province.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that. Any other questions? No, hearing none, then we'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, on to the 2025 ABE Dam Electrical and a recommendation for award. We'll look again to the Director of Engineering for this report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. The City of Weyburn has allocated $800,000 for upgrades to the Albert Douglas Dam, including replacement of the stop logs and minor repairs. The first component of the stop log replacement project included the fabrication, supply, and installation of new steel stop logs. This was awarded to DMS Industrial Constructors, Inc. for $552,089, including PST. The second component of the project is the electrical package, consisting of the supply and installation of new electrical pedestal, lighting and receptacles, main feeder trenching and cable installation, and the supply and installation of a surveillance system. On June 18th, 2025, a request for proposal for the Albert Douglas Dam stop log upgrade electrical was posted on Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city's website. Proposals were to be received by July 10th, 2025 at 2 p.m. One proposal was received from Alliance Energy for $158,730. Proposals submitted were received by MPE, a division of Englobe, and reviewed for any errors, omissions, or other discrepancies. MPE can indicate that from their review and past experience, the contractor has the capability to perform the work required. It is recommended to award the Albert Douglas Dam stop log upgrade electrical to Alliance Energy for $158,730, excluding taxes.
Thank you, Director. Can we get a motion on the floor?
Your Worship, I'd make a motion that the Albert Douglas Dam stop log upgrade electrical be awarded to Alliance Energy for $158,730, excluding taxes.
Your Worship, I will second that motion.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's open the floor for questions. Councillor Corrigan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Curious, is this a specialized project then? Is that the reason why we only received one tender on this particular project?
No, it's not specialized in nature at all. It's quite common electrical work, an electrical package. I'm not totally certain why we only received one. It could have been just late to the construction season. I don't really know why.
Just to follow up, where is Alliance Energy out of?
Well, they're actually doing work at the water treatment plant for the upgrades there. So we did reach out to them to see if they were interested in this bid opportunity, just because it makes sense because they're here. So,
okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just make a comment on that based on Councillor Haig's questions earlier. I think we see and hear more and more of this lack of bids
across the province because we have less and less contractors and more work needing to be done. So I think that is indicative of some of the struggles that we're having. Other questions? Yeah, Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Director Condon, I apologize, I didn't get this question to you earlier, but this is a multi-phase project, so this is 1 and 2. How many more phases, and are we kind of staying within budget of that $800,000?
Yeah, so this is just the second phase of the stop log upgrade, and then after this, the next phase of the dam upgrades, there's a lot of different repairs and things that need to be done. This stop log upgrade project is just the one that has 2 components or 2 phases, and it is so far within our allocated budget.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Councilor Bador, sorry.
Renee, just wondering, when it says surveillance, is that surveillance of the dam or like actual video surveillance or?
So that would be video surveillance of the spillway and dam, as well as this very expensive electrical panel and controls and transformer box. So it'd be basically like your security cameras.
So I just want to reiterate to people, I had the pleasure of working around this area, and it was an absolute, and hopefully will be fixed now, but it was an absolute danger for our staff, and this is very important to fix. And I think the other piece of this is there is people that jump off the dam and stuff like that. We've been out there before, so I think this is very important, also for our infrastructure, but also safety for our staff and people around that area.
No, thanks for that. All right, if there's no other questions, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. All right, that is our motions. No introductions, pardon me, of bylaws, no unfinished business. So on to new business, a special occasion permit for the Weyburn Red Wings. We'll look again to our Director of Leisure Services.
Thank you, Your Worship. Special occasion liquor permits are required by the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority for selling and serving alcohol that is not held in a commercially permitted establishment. Written municipal approval must be submitted respecting all outdoor functions. Special occasion application has been submitted by the Weyburn Red Wings for their home opener event scheduled for Thursday, September 19th, 2025. The application outlined plans to temporarily close a portion of Mergen Street in front of the main rink, host fast food trucks or tables within the closed-off area, permit outdoor alcohol sales under the special occasion permit, and offer family-friendly activities, including games for children. To ensure public safety and crowd management, the Red Wings have arranged for 4 security personnel from Logic Security to be on site during the event. The proposed hours for the street closure and outdoor liquor service are from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Leisure Services Department has reviewed the application and confirmed that all required documentation has been submitted. There's no concerns identified during the review process. Recommend that Council provide approval to the Weyburn Red Wings to make an application to the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority to sell alcohol during their event held outside the rink facility at 327 Mergen Street on September 19th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Your Worship, I'll move that Council provide approval for the Weyburn Red Wings to make an application to the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority to sell alcohol during their event held outside the rink facility held at 327 Mergen Street on September 19th, 2025 from 4 to 7.
Thank you. I'll second that, Your Worship. Thank you. All right. Any questions for Director Henning on this one? Pretty straightforward. All right. September 19th, a big day. Call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. All right, on to the, yes, our audited financial statements. Our Director of Finance, Ms. Saul, if you could walk us through this, please.
Thank you. So the City of Weyburn's 2024 audit was recently completed by Doe and Grant Thornton. So Doe and Grant Thornton has provided a qualified opinion, as they have done in the last couple of years. This can be seen on page 2 of our financials. And this is due to the city has employees with the benefit of accumulating non-vesting sick leave as of December 31st, 2024, and management has not recorded an estimate of the accrued benefit, and therefore a qualified opinion is being presented because it's a departure from Canadian public sector accounting standards. The qualified opinion is given because management is of the opinion that the accumulated sick leave is not an accurate representation of the liability to the city, as sick leave is not a payable benefit upon termination. We also have a qualification stated in relation to our buildings containing non-exposed asbestos. So currently there's no estimated liability on the retirement of these assets, and therefore remediation of the asbestos is not estimated and disclosed as a liability, resulting in the qualified opinion. So when we do our budgets, we budget based on a cash basis, and our financials are on an accrual basis. So we've done up a comparison between the budget to actual, and we do show a difference of revenue of just over 2 million over budget, and expenses are just under 2 million based on our budget. But if you take that back on page 2, or on note 2 on page 15, it shows that the budgeted financials budgeted right down to zero cash basis. So we do have a balanced budget. So areas to highlight, our statement of financial position is on page 5, and the cash and cash equivalents, cash has decreased by 1.46 million, and this is mostly due to funding our utility and infrastructure projects. So our investments they've increased by 1.48 million, and this was due to some GIC investments that were reinvested into portfolio investments, which receive a higher return, and they are long-term. So our other receivables have increased by 260,000. This is just due to some late receipt of municipal surcharges that were received in 2025. Our liabilities overall have decreased by just under $1 million, and this is due to our payment on our loan for the Credit Union Spark Center, and our repayment schedules on page 17, note 12. So our tangible capital assets, our major projects for this year, we're paving of First Avenue, the traffic lights at Government Road and 16th Street, the 16th Street storm sewer. There's many water main replacements, the water treatment plant upgrades, a new rooftop unit at the police station, and we had fleet purchases of a tandem dump truck, street sweeper, a 1-ton truck, and a new mower. So our repayment and deferred charges, these increased by 380,000. This is mostly due to payments made in 2024 for 2025 expenditures. The hospital levy trust, so this is it's in note 13 on page 17, and at December 31st, the city had paid fully the $6 million that we had collected to the hospital foundation, so there is no balance sitting there. So the statement of operations on page 6, it's detailed out in schedules 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go through the detail of those schedules. This is our revenue and expenses. So our schedule of taxes and other unconditional revenue on page 20 of schedule 1. Overall, we were 33,000 under budget. So this is mostly due to taxes. The general levy was 74,000 higher than budgeted, but the grant and lieu received were 68,000 below budget. The schedule of operating and capital revenue on Schedule 2, pages 21 to 24. Overall, it was 2.19 above budget. So the general government was 20,000 above budget, and this was due to investment returns that were higher than we had budgeted for. Protective services, they had an increase in revenue from fire fees and an increase in police prisoner detention revenue. Transportation Services had extra funding that was received for the First Avenue asphalt. Environmental and Public Health Services, the landfill fees were $270,000 above budget, and the multi-material stewardship Western program funding was above budget, resulting in $378,000 in extra revenue. Planning and Development Services revenue was above budget due to the commercial inspection fees, and this, you'll see later that it's offset by a higher expense due to those inspection fees that we have to pay for. And also we had some land sales that were not budgeted for. Recreation and Cultural Services is below budget by $75,000, mostly due to our leisure facility demands being decreased. The indoor pool was closed in September, and the rinks had been closed down in December. Other income was above budget due to some insurance claim proceeds that we received. The utility services revenue was $180,000 below budget due to just a decrease in water usage seen over the year. So in our expenses by function, so Schedule 3, pages 26 to 28, overall we were $700,000 below budget. General government services, the expenditures were under budget by $144,000. This was mostly due to wages that were under due to some temporary vacancies, and our material maintenance and supplies were under by $82,000 due to some budgeted software that was not purchased. Protective services, so the police protection expenditures were under budget by $85,000. This was mostly due to their collective agreement is outstanding. So they didn't have those wages to be paid out. Other expenditures were under budget by $20,000 just due to less training that was done. Fire protection expenditures were under budget by $191,000. And this was mostly due to because they had a vacant position throughout the year. And some of their maintenance material and supplies were under budget due to the air purification project that was not completed and was completed in 2025. So transportation services, their expenditures were over budget by $913,000. The wages were under budget due to some vacancies, but the professional contract services were under budget by $774 due to postponed traffic study and First Avenue asphalt being capitalized rather than it being expensed. Sorry, that should say under budget by $913,000. The maintenance materials and supplies were under budget by $100,000 due to just less snowfall resulting in decreased snow removal and sanding needs, and the line painting was also under budget by $27,000. So environmental and public health services, the expenditures were under budget by $57,000. This was mainly due to a carryover of the concrete crushing to 2025. Planning and development services, the expenditures are over budget by $160,000. Wages were under budget due to moving a position from the engineering department mid-year to another department. But the professional and contract services were over budget by $195,000 due to contracted building inspection expenses. And that's offset by the extra revenue that we saw come in. So recreation and cultural services expenditures were under budget by $322,000. The wages were under budget by $105,000 due to the closure of the leisure center. Professional and contractual services were under by $67,000 as a facility assessment RFP came in under budget. Maintenance materials and supplies were below budget by $187,000. This is mainly due to facility repairs and maintenance that was postponed on the leisure center, and the sports arena doors will be completed in 2025. So utility services expenditures were under budget by $712,000, and this was due to some wages had some vacancies. Professional services were under by $622,000 due to the stop logs at the dam being completed in 2025. So our schedule of accumulated surplus shows it's on Schedule 8, page 32. Our reserves have decreased by just under 800,000. So this was due to some internal loan advances for the utility projects and some funding that was provided for the infrastructure revitalization program. So overall, 2024 had an annual surplus of revenue over expenditures of 1.8 million, with investments in capital of 5.8 million. So administration recommends council accept the 2024 audited financial statements and the public accounts as presented. And the statements and the public accounts will be available on our website once we receive final copies from Doe and Grant Thornton.
Thank you, Director Massal. Okay, let's get a motion first on the floor.
Your Worship, I'd make a motion the 2024 audited financial statements and the 2024 public accounts be accepted as presented. Thank you.
I'll second that motion, Your Worship.
Thank you, and it's important to note that council has had access to these the draft statements for about a week, and then council also met with the auditors face-to-face, where we were able to ask questions as well. But I will open the floor again to questioning, or questioning to questions, or questioning as it might be, I suppose. Any questions from council for the Director of Finance or the City Manager? Councillor Corrigan.
Thank you, Your Worship. When you look at this, and you obviously say we have a surplus of revenues over expenses of approximately $1.8 million, now that isn't cash dollars, correct? Could you explain that to the public, exactly what that means?
Correct. So that just means, so when we budget our cash, we do a lot of transfers from one department to another. So that's budgeted through cash to pay for other expenditures. But when we have our financials, we have to consolidate everything together, so we don't have those transfers. And it also, we pay back to our reserves to cover some of those internal loans, and those are consolidated out from our financials. So yeah, our surplus, it's not cash within cash, it's our assets, basically. It attributes to our assets, so it attributes to, so we were at 115 million? Now we're at 118. We're at 117 million. So it just attributes to our assets that we hold.
Right. Yeah, it's not we couldn't take $1.8 million and put it into an investment fund.
No. Right
now, basically.
No.
Thank you.
Thanks for that clarification. Other questions or commentary? As always, important to note, cities must present and end up with a balanced budget. We don't have the option of a deficit or a surplus like other levels of government do. We've achieved that again, and the next year will be the same. So we're in good shape. If there's nothing else, then I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. So once we get the final reports from Doe and Grant Thornton, you will put them up on the website with all the reports. Thank you.
Your Worship, I would like to declare a conflict due to a personal connection.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so we are going to move in camera to discuss a council code of ethics complaint, specifically items in section 16 of the Local Authority of Freedom of Information Act. So I must ask that everyone except for City Council, the City Manager, and the City Clerk vacate council chambers, please. Okay, welcome back. We did have a motion to move back out of camera, so we are in open council right now, and I would look for a motion regarding the previous item.
Your Worship, I move that Council has received and considered complaint 1-2025 along with the investigation report dated June 26, 2025, and determined that complaint 1-2025 is unsubstantiated with written reasons to follow and be provided to the complainant and to the respondent.
Thank you.
I will second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Are there any questions for clarification on this? Hearing,
just one, Your Worship. Does this become public information at this point?
City Clerk?
There won't be any names attached to the complaint.
Right.
But the context of the information within the report is available publicly?
Well,
No, it's just what's
Okay.
in
The
the
decision will be
resolutions.
public.
Yeah,
The decision is
yes.
public. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Councilor Morissette?
Thank you, Worship. Just thank you to administration. This is a first, at least in my tenure of being on council, so thank you so much for taking us through this. Thank you for doing all of the legal work and explaining it to us in a way that we can all understand. So I know it's your job, but I like to say thank you because this is above and beyond.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. If that's all, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay. Back to the agenda, Jeff. All right. On to, as Councillor Sadlowski, I'll just, I think maybe that's what Paige just went to do. So as they make their way back into the room, we're just on to item 12, which is inquiries and announcements. So we only meet a couple of times here over the summer. There's lots going on. I know we did a couple of things earlier on in the evening, which is great as well, by the way. Any other inquiries and announcements, administration or council? Councillor Janke?
Sorry to ambush with this question, but I've had a few people ask, what are the criteria upon which, because of air quality conditions, we'll close the pool? I mean, can you just speak briefly to that so that there's public awareness?
I can speak to that, Councillor Janke. So we go off the purple air monitors, which the city has 2 that are working. One that's about to get repaired within the city limits. We compare that with what the government has for air monitoring stations. And our policy is if the air quality health index is at 10 or higher for 30 minutes, we will shut down the outdoor pool. We give the recommendation over to all the minor sports, which most of them do have a user policy that falls in line with the 10 or lower at 8 for some of them. So that falls in line there. And then once it's at 10 or lower for 30 minutes and it's starting to trend down and we look at the fire smoke maps and stuff and we see that that plume of smoke is dissipating, then we'll reopen the facility.
Thank you, Richard. It seems like a much more clear and direct policy than what the CFL has.
Anybody else? Yes, Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to encourage everyone to keep their eyes on our media pages and our webpage. There's a lot of really great stuff going on. Heritage Village Days are coming up, and I know our parks people are planning a tree planting day as well. So definitely, we would love everybody to participate in both of those.
Thank you. Councillor Sadlowski?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the public for being patient and careful on the roads. There's lots of crews out there right now. There's lots of construction going on. So just be mindful of the projects, and thanks for your patience.
Yeah. Anybody else? I enjoy a drive through the country, so I'm being extremely patient with it. Councilor Bador, did you have? Yeah.
And if you are frustrated with driving, try to our walking paths. They're fantastic and all over the city.
Well said. On foot, though.
Yes.
Try them on foot. Right. All right. If that is it, then our next meeting, like I said, will be Monday. Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, okay. If that's it, our next meeting will be Monday, August 11th at 6 o'clock here in Council Chambers. So hearing that, nothing else, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
To share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today